What if wisdom starts with a single, stubborn question you're afraid to ask? What if the loudest answer is the silence that follows your doubt? Socrates didn't offer easy truths. He offered a method, a way of living that keeps questioning, keeps refining, and keeps you honest with yourself. 9 quotes, 9 stubborn invitations to look inward and act outward with clarity. This is Socrates as a guide through a modern life that moves too fast to pause. First, a quick frame. Socrates lived in a city that valued certainty more than clarity. He believed that easy answers hollowed out character, and that virtue grows when we test ourselves against the hardest questions. He didn't claim to know everything. He claimed to know how to keep learning. That stance is contagious in a world obsessed with quick conclusions and glossy slogans. Quote 1. The unexamined life is not worth living. The idea lands like a chisel strike. Without scrutiny, we drift on autopilot. The value isn't guilt for past mistakes. It's presence with intention. The unexamined life isn't a guilt trip. It's a challenge to be awake when life asks for a choice. When your schedule fills up with noise and the days blur, return to the question, who am I becoming through my choices? This quote invites you to live with a small, stubborn light on in the dark corridors of habit. Quote 2. The only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing. Think of wisdom as a moving horizon. The more you glimpse it, the more it slips away, inviting you to walk further, to read more, to listen deeper. The point isn't insecurity, it's humility as a practice. When you claim certainty, you close doors. When you own your ignorance, you open rooms. See how this reframes mistakes as signposts rather than failures? Each misstep becomes data for growth, not proof of defeat. Quote 3. Wonder is the beginning of wisdom. Curiosity isn't a temperament, it's a muscle. Wonder asks questions that hurt before they heal, that stretch a tired mind back to life. It isn't passive awe, it's active interrogation. In a world that mistakes information for understanding, wonder asks, what would it look like if I held both doubt and possibility in the same hand? This balance is the seed of insight, the starting line for any meaningful shift. Quote 4. I know that I know nothing. Another way to hear it. The best compass points north when you admit you're uncertain at every step. This isn't self-deprecation. It's allegiance to truth. When you claim you know nothing, you invite questions from others. You invite critique. You invite the tough kind of listening that changes you. It's dangerous in a culture that worships certainty, and that danger is precisely your edge. Use it. Quote 5. Education is the kindling of a flame, not the filling of a vessel. Learning isn't about cramming facts. It's about igniting a durable light inside you. The flame requires air. Questions that keep the fire alive. Challenges that force you to move beyond the easy answer. And experiences that turn knowledge into action. The moment you mistake storage for growth, you turn schooling into a cage. Nourish the flame with curiosity, practice, and habit. Kuwata anam. Be slow to fall in a friendship, but when thou art in, continue firm and constant. Socrates isn't urging cold detachment. Yes, defending durability. Real bonds aren't built on convenience or surface affinity. They're cultivated through time, friction, and shared inquiry. In a fast world that treats relationships as apps, this line asks for discipline. Choose friends who challenge you, not those who confirm you. And then stay present long enough for trust to ruin you and rebuild you anew. Kuwata tuju. The measure of a person is not what they have, but what they have given away. Charity isn't charity if it's louder than the act it accompanies. This is a different metric. What you relinquish, whether pride, time, or certainty, reveals your character more than what you accumulate. The paradox is generous as you let go. You create space for others to thrive. And you finally learn what you're truly made of. Quote 8. He who would move the world must first move himself. Action starts inside before it translates outward. If you want change in politics, business, or culture, you begin with your own habits, your own biases, your own sleep schedule. Transformation ripples outward from a core you've trained to question, to resist easy shortcuts. The inner work dissolves the impediments that keep large systems from shifting. Quote 9. To know thyself is the beginning of wisdom. Self-awareness isn't vanity. It's fuel for resilience. When you observe your impulses, what irritates you, what you fear, what you pretend not to notice, you gain leverage over your reactions. Knowledge of yourself becomes a practical tool for choosing the right kind of courage. Not loud bravado, but quiet, deliberate steadiness. Then your decisions stop being reflexive and start being intentional. Bringing these quotes together isn't a nostalgic stroll through antique marble halls. It's a blueprint for living with sharper eyes, steadier hands, and quieter pride. Socrates didn't offer a recipe for happiness or a guarantee of success. He offered a method. Ask and act with courage when the world asks for your best judgment. The 9 lines above are not a sermon. They are invitation codes to a life of ongoing calibration. If you listen closely and keep giving your best effort, even when the map isn't clear. The path isn't a straight line. It's a zigzag through doubt, shaped by questions you choose to hold onto rather than discard in the moment. In that tension, the tension between knowing and not knowing, between action and reflection, wisdom begins to crest. So what does this mean for you right now? Start with one small shift. Pick one quote that lands hardest. Write a single sentence of intention for the week based on it, and test it against your actions. When you stumble, return to the question that started it all. What would a wiser next move look like? The Socratic way isn't a destination. It's a practice. A persistent turning of the mind toward clarity, courage, and care. As you carry these lines forward, notice the quiet twist. The more you question, the more you discover that the highest form of power isn't control over others, it's control over your own attention. Your attention shapes your choices, your relationships, and your days. The 8 words you choose to repeat to yourself, or the one question you refuse to abandon, can rewire your entire life if you hold on to them with discipline and humility. So I'll ask you again, in the spirit Socrates would admire, what is the question you're not ready to ask? What would it reveal about you if you allowed it to surface? And what would change in your life if you pursued that revelation with steady, patient action? Wisdom isn't a final grant. It's a continual negotiation with yourself, a commitment to keep moving, even when the path remains unclear. The 9 quotes are more than words. They're a practice, a recurring morning reminder that thinking deeply is not a luxury, but a responsibility. The more you lean into that responsibility, the more the world around you begins to respond with greater honesty, deeper purpose, and braver choices. The quiet power of Socrates remains this. He invites us to be less certain, more deliberate, and finally, more human. Resonant question at the end of the loop. If wisdom begins with doubt, what will you do with your next doubt? In the quiet after the loop, the real work begins. These 9 lines aren't trophies. They're templates for a living and translated into a tiny deed. Today I will pause before reacting. Today I will listen longer. Today I will give time to someone else's idea before defending mine. Let the practice be small but repeatable. 60 seconds of reflection in the morning. 1 deliberate choice in the afternoon. 1 act of service in the evening. The twist Socrates hints at isn't clever tricks, but ongoing revision. Wisdom isn't a crown. It's a hinge that allows you to rotate toward better questions. If you want a practical frame, try this week-long rhythm. 1. Morning question from a quote. 2. Midday check-in on your intention. 3. Evening note on what you learned about yourself. By Friday, you'll notice the texture of your days shifting, faster clarity after slow. Smaller choices acting like tiny levers that move bigger outcomes. And when a doubt reappears, greet it as a neighbor, not an enemy. The more you welcome doubt, the less it unsettles you. Let that be your steady drumbeat, a habit of asking, not assuming, of testing, not shouting, of acting with care, even when the map isn't clear. Over time, the question isn't whether you're wise, but whether you're willing to keep learning what wisdom asks of you. What small doubt will you invite into